Well, I mean, as far as, I mean, was I excited to go back to Iowa? Yeah. I mean, I was. I think everyone, unfortunately, probably was a little too much, and I'll say that how those things worked out, how it worked out for those guys. I mean, they're the only ones that got hurt in that whole thing. Tom didn't get hurt in that whole thing. I mean, he got to get the job of his life that he wanted. I didn't get hurt in that thing. Wes didn't get hurt in that thing. Virginia Tech didn't get hurt in that thing. Just those athletes did. Those athletes all lost a year, and anybody that knows and they knows they only have 4 opportunities to wrestle in a national tournament. They only have 4 years, and that not. I mean, is any day taken? I mean, you can't take for granted any day, let alone a year. I mean, that those guys gave that up. I have ultimate respect for those guys. For Leclere and Borschel and Slaton and Leet and Metcalf. Those 5 guys, they gave up a year. You know what? I probably would. But it would be very hard to do. They gave up a year. And people don't understand either that, okay, so Tom left, and he left in April, right? So I'm back there with those guys. Dresser takes over. They got to finish school. So they finish school, but they can't have any contact. They can't have any contact with the coaches. They can't come on campus. They can't do anything that has to do with the University of Iowa or Tom or Wes or me or anyone else. They were out in OTC that year. That whole summer, kind of training on their own and train a little bit with them, but they couldn't, not till school started. But man, if anybody ever forgets what they gave up, man, they should get slapped. That's ridiculous. I mean, that those guys gave that up. I felt bad for him because fortunately, conversations that took place. I mean, things, and obviously, you learn a valuable lesson that you need to get stuff in writing. You need to have it, like having someone's word, which you would hope would be enough. But unfortunately, that was the only way I think they could get back at Tom at the time. And that's what I feel like. I feel like, hey, I think, he'd kind of been asked to give me one last shot. And anybody that would say they wouldn't take that job, they're crazy too. Come on. That is your job. That is your dream job. That is the job you wanted. And anybody that says they wouldn't do that, they're full of it. So I don't blame him for taking that job. Obviously you wish it would have turned out different for those athletes. But I mean, heck, Metcalf works for Dresser now, which is, a crazy situation. But, those guys I think have obviously gotten over it. But I mean, I've sat and thought about that once in a while, like how many guys would have done it? How many guys would have done that? But those guys knew what they were doing, and they knew as soon as Tom left, and they were there for Tom. That's why they came. They came for the coaching staff. They didn't come for Virginia Tech, the school. Even though it's a great school, I mean, don't get me wrong, but I'm just saying, like, that's why they were there, and that's why they moved. And hopefully some people don't forget that.